to power their
who don't have power and may not be able to charge your phones up as quickly as you'd like. Please know that this press conference will take a while because we have a lot to cover. If you want to just wait in about an hour, we're going to issue a release that will cover all the factual information from this press conference. So please don't feel like you got to watch the whole thing online if you're worried about conserving your battery space. I want to start today by addressing the rumor of the day. Have heard from a lot of concerned folks that we're about to run out of fuel in Tulsa. Is that true? That is not true. About a day ago, as we discussed at our briefing yesterday, there was concern about our fuel supply in Tulsa if the state of Oklahoma did not issue an emergency waiver for generators to be used and if power was not restored at our three main fuel terminals that serve the Tulsa metro area. Shortly after our briefing yesterday, the state did issue that waiver, and then by the early evening yesterday, power had been restored at all three of those terminals. And so they're operating as they would any other time. So right now, the main gap between you and getting all the fuel that you want is just we need time for those tanker trucks to get out there to the terminals and transport that fuel from the terminals to stores and gas stations all over the Tulsa metro. But the fuel is there. So I want to tamp down any concern that folks have about that. That rumor that's going around just isn't true. Most importantly today, the state of Oklahoma this afternoon issued its state of emergency declaration. I really, on behalf of our whole community, want to say how grateful I am for State Senate President Pro Tem Greg Treat and him signing this declaration as the acting governor of Oklahoma, while both Governor Stitt and Lieutenant Governor Pinnell are out of the state. Senator Treat was actually here in Tulsa over the weekend. He saw the devastation in our community for himself. And as he told me, as soon as he found out that he had the opportunity to act, he jumped right in his car, drove to the Capitol, and signed the declaration. So I'm really grateful for him not hesitating to act on this, that the state issuing this declaration will now allow us to more properly plan for what we can count on from a federal reimbursement standpoint in the work that we do as this cleanup proceeds. As I've been told by our emergency management folks here, it's going to allow them to move a lot more quickly on the cleanup because we can have greater confidence now on the funds that we spend getting reimbursed for the work that's done. And all of this, again, is thanks to Senator Treat's action this afternoon, and I'm really grateful for it. Our residential mulch drop-off site is officially operational. It even opened up ahead of schedule, not entirely on purpose, but folks were so eager to drop their stuff off this morning that they followed the lawnmower guy right into the site and have been lined up all day long and dropping them off at the site at East Latimer Street and North 89th East Avenue. Again, moving forward, that site will be open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day moving forward. I want to make sure folks understand we've basically got two options for you right now at your homes. If you want to drop things off at this site, you can take it there. And there's no limit on the size of it or the weight of it. If you can get it there and get it out of your vehicle and drop it off, please feel free to do that. And that's available for everybody that lives here in the city of Tulsa. If you don't want to load it up and take it there, then you can place it at your curb. If you're okay with waiting a little bit, you can place it at your curb in 5-foot bundles. And the reason for that length is that we have a truck that drives around with a mechanized claw that we'll go down and pick that up. And the City of Tulsa has put out some great guidelines for you to follow that you can see on all the City of Tulsa's social media channels that tell you exactly how to put your stuff at the curb so that the truck that's going to go around and pick all this stuff up along curbs can do so. We're working right now on what the schedule for that pickup plan will be, and we'll have that available to folks hopefully pretty soon here. I've also had questions from folks about, well, what if the city came down and cleared like a giant tree from in front of my house, and it's a massive tree. Am I expected to chop this tree up into 5-foot segments? No. The crews will also be doing an initial sweep around the city with this heavy equipment to load that type of stuff down trees that have been over streets that have been moved to the side so that your cars can get through. They'll be going around and picking them up, so you don't have to worry about that. The 5-foot lengths are mostly for the stuff that you would be cleaning up out of your yard. So those are the two options. You can either take it out right now, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day, or load it at the curb, and we will come by and pick it up here in the next couple of weeks. Another question that has come up and is a great concern for me is some unfortunate activity we're seeing with contractors. So for your power restoration at your home, PSO is working to get all the power lines across the city restored. If you haven't seen just the drone photography of the number of vehicles that have come here from coast to coast across the United States into our city to get power restored, it's really remarkable. And they're out in all parts of our city right now working to get it restored. But then there's the line that goes directly to your house, and where it goes into your house connects, there's a piece of equipment called a weatherhead. If the weatherhead is damaged, PSO turning the power back on will not re-electrify your home. And you are responsible for making sure that your weatherhead isn't damaged and is working correctly. You need to have a private electrician come by and fix that on your house so that you're getting electricity safely. To make sure that those are done safely and that we don't create a fire hazard at people's homes when these weatherheads are re-electrified and sending power into your home, there is a permit that has to be issued that's reviewed by our development services team here at the city. The commitment that I have from our development services team is that every single one of those will be turned around in one day. So this is not a permit that you're going to have to wait a long time for. And the cost of that permit is $93.11. And that is strictly to cover the cost of processing it. I've heard unfortunate reports from some citizens of contractors telling them that the city's permit is going to cost them $1,000. That is someone trying to rip you off. That is simply not true. I'm here to tell you right now, and I want you as my fellow Tulsans to be armed with the facts. The cost of the permit is $93.11, and that is it. And we will get it turned around in one day. Let's see here. Few additional things while we're on the note of contractors. We want to encourage folks, make sure that your contractors that are hired to do work at your house are licensed. I remember this from the 2007 ice storm. We're going to have a whole lot of folks, just as you see, PSOs bringing people in. There's going to be people from across this region of the United States who are going to be coming into our city over the next couple of weeks looking for your business at your home. When they come to you and try to sell their wares, please make sure that they are licensed, that they are insured and bonded, and make sure that a roof contractor or a trade contractor is licensed through the state of Oklahoma. They should be able to show you that valid state license when they come to your house. Repair permits can be submitted either directly here at City Hall or you can email it directly. And I apologize in advance for giving the entire world his personal email address. But Brian Mathis here at the City of Tulsa, very hardworking member of our team, you can email him at bmathis@cityoftulsa.org, and that repair permit will go straight to Brian, and he will get it processed for you. Lastly, I know that there are some folks whose homes have been impacted by this who can't afford to make those repairs, and especially when it comes to the weatherhead component. We want you to have power in your home, and we understand if there are financial constraints. Our Working in Neighborhoods department administers a community development block grant program that can help cover the cost of this if you qualify for the program. You can visit cityoftulsa.org/win housing, WIN housing, to download the application and see if you qualify. Lastly, I just again want to thank all of our crews. It is, and I hope citizens of Tulsa, I know the PSO folks don't want us talking to their contractors. Don't go up and ask them questions, but if you see them, please thank them. They're out working in extraordinary weather conditions, and they're working 24 hours a day to get power restored in our city. There are city crews that are out working in all parts of our city right now. Just the combined effort and collective work that is occurring across Tulsa in response to one of the worst natural disasters we've seen in this city in its history is really extraordinary, and it's important. I think Tulsans, we're known for our gratitude. It's important that these crews that are out there working across our city, they feel the gratitude of the citizens of Tulsa for the work that they're doing. I definitely want to thank our first responders who've been out working in really trying conditions. You've heard Chief Baker talk about Tulsa Fire and the extraordinary number of responses they're making, in a single day, usually what would take most of a week for them to cover. You've heard at EMSA, very similar call volumes and the level of work that they are out there doing. And Tulsa Police is doing a remarkable job keeping our city safe and secured, especially in parts of our city with no power at night. Heard a great story earlier today from Chief Franklin about some criminal who thought he was going to steal an ATM and looked up and was surrounded in all directions by Tulsa police officers and is now getting a nice air-conditioned stay at David L. Moss. So Tulsa Police Department, Tulsa County Sheriff's Office, they're just doing a great job keeping Tulsans safe in this challenging environment, and I want to thank them. On that note, I'll turn it over to my colleague from the Tulsa County Board of County Commissioners, their chairman, Kelly Dunkerley.
Well, thank you, Mayor. As the Mayor told you, I'm Kelly Dunkerley, Tulsa County Commissioner, District 3. And I just want to give you a brief update from the county perspective. But first of all, I just want to thank the Mayor, Mayor G.T. Bynum, and his staff at City of Tulsa, but also all the other mayors across this metro area and their staffs, their city councils. This really is a team effort by all the governments and municipalities in this area coming together, pulling together, trying to make things safe and bring us back to a sense of normalcy as soon as possible. But I want to stress is we got to have patience. This takes time. People are working together as fast as they can. First responders have been working around the clock, and we now have, and I will say I've been out to the fairgrounds, the Expo Center this morning, and it's a very impressive site. And I'm here to tell you, we've brought in, all of these partners have brought in an army of professionals, electrical professionals from as far away as West Virginia and up north in Canada and all in between. This is not the only disaster in the United States. Shreveport, about a week ago, had a similar instance. So it's tough to get the resources together, but they're working together. Mark Andrus, he's the chief executive of the fairgrounds, and Sig Brown runs our food operations at the fairgrounds, and they are up to serving 12,000 meals a day for this small army. It's impressive. We have a center there that this metropolitan area has invested in over the years. We learned through past disasters, the ice storms often referred to in connection to this storm, and we have the resources, we have the manpower, the woman power to handle this, but we also have a command center that's second to none. They love coming here, they've been here before, and we can house these people, we can direct them, they have a command center, so we are working as fast as possible. PSO is doing a phenomenal job, and their partners in the electrical industry, so I do want to stress patience, but the work is being done, and as the mayor mentioned, it's around the clock. Obviously, they can do more work during the day, but work is going on around the clock to get power back, because we all know in these types of disasters, there's a lot of property damage. A lot of people have experienced difficulties, but this is about people. It's about serving people. It's about getting people back on their feet, and these professionals are doing that as fast as they can. When it comes to power, we all know it's June. It's getting warm. We have cooling stations. The city of Tulsa has a number of them. It's on their website. Tulsa County has cooling stations at Parks. O'Brien in the north, South County in the south, down in Glenpool. We also have a cooling station at Social Services, which is on Charles Page Boulevard, just east of downtown Tulsa. We'll have more as power comes available, but we want to help people rest and cool off when they can. So that's very important. So safety is number one always. Let the professionals handle the electrical work. Stay away from the wires. PSL will give you more on that here in a second, but I just want to, again, thank everyone for their work. Thank you to the first responders keeping us safe, and thank you for the electrical workers who have come to our city to help us in a time of need. Their work is very important, and they are doing it well and as fast as they can. So again, I want to thank you. I want to thank others here today for all of their service, and police departments, the fire departments, and the sheriff's department. They're all on the job 24/7. So thank you very much, and I'll turn it over to Wayne Green with PSO.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you to the county for hosting us at Expo Square. We couldn't do it without you. It's a tremendous effort that's going on out there to host 2,700 out-of-state line workers, foresters, and support personnel, as well as our own professional team and the 700 PSO frontline people who are dealing with this crisis. I have some updated information for you. As we speak, we have restored power to about 77,000 of our customers. That means about 127,000 are yet to be restored to power. We are working night and day in all parts of the city to restore power to everybody. We understand the frustration of our customers. We're frustrated too. This is an enormous challenge. Every level of the electrical grid was damaged, from the transmission lines that bring the power from the generators into the city, to the distribution network, to the lines that bring the power down into your homes, even the weatherheads on your home. It's going to take a while to restore all of that infrastructure. We do expect to make some big steps forward today and tomorrow, especially as transmission lines come back online. We had 14 transmission lines that were damaged. 7 have been restored. An 8th should be restored soon. We will keep working at it until every Tulsan has their power back. Let me tell you how proud I am of all the PSO team that have been making this happen. It's the dedication is remarkable. At 3 o'clock at 3 o'clock this morning, we had people still at Expo Square blowing up air mattresses, building cots, taking care of each other, making sure that our frontline people had what it took to be ready to go to work this morning. Later tonight, we expect some more specific estimated times of recovery will be posted on our website. There's been some frustration that initially we said that at 5 p.m. that most of our Tulsa metropolitan customers would have their power restored by 5 p.m. Saturday. By later on this evening, we should have a more specific circuit level times posted so that people will be able to look at their area, have a better idea when power will be restored, and make plans accordingly. The when will your circuit be restored will be largely determined by the magnitude of the damage to the area. So if we have to repair transmission lines and multiple distribution breaks and even the lines that come into your house, that might take a little bit longer. I believe it's Chief Franklin's turn to speak. Chief.
All right, good afternoon. Going to provide a little update on what Tulsa Police operations have going on. First, the jail is back up and running. It's cool, and we've got space. We have capacity. The courts are operational. The police main station is back open and operational. So we are operating smoothly from that perspective. Tonight, we plan on doing the same thing we did last night. We are increasing the number of patrol officers out on the streets because there are some people that don't get the message that that when you are a criminal, we have places for you to go between our jail and David L. Moss. We'll be dropping people off there that commit crimes. Also, yesterday I talked about the intersections, and today I'm going to just say there is patience that's needed as you drive and move about the city, because the city streets are not in their normal capacity of being able to handle the traffic flow. So if you get out and about, you need to make plans and expect that it's going to take you longer to get to your destination. Remember, pay attention to those intersections. One other thing that I've noticed is that people are getting used to stopping in the intersection when there's no traffic lights there, and then they'll stop for a flashing red light. But what I've noticed, people are getting so conditioned that they are stopping for a solid red light, and then they're entering into the intersection as though they can go. And those are functioning intersections, and they're going to cause a traffic issue. So pay attention. Don't divert your attention to your phone. Pay attention to what's in front of you and what's out your windshield. I want to provide you, because now is the time, the mayor mentioned it, it's time to start talking about scam artists and what they are going to be doing. They're going to be coming door to door asking or seeking to gain you as a customer. So be very wary of door-to-door salespeople, door-to-door workers that claim that they can come in and fix or repair some piece of your property. We want you to use reputable companies. We want you to do your research. Don't just look and see that someone's created a website that has a 5-star that someone's given a 5-star rating. Let's do a little bit more homework. Use each other and get reputable contacts or people to that know individuals that can do the work for you. Don't blindly trust those ratings. Never pay for the work that's being done up front. That if you have to pay for work being done up front, then I can promise you your money is gone. When such things happen, you're going to have to file a police report. That police report can be filed on our online system at tulsapolice.org. Do not expect that we will be able to recover any money. So be careful. Make sure you have a reputable person before you pay any deposits or pay for work to be done, because the chance of recovering those funds are pretty slim. Mayor mentioned last night, just wanted to highlight this. The person attempted to steal a ATM. He was met and is now at a cooling station in the David L. Moss. So, again, we're going to be out there. We're going to be out there being proactive in these areas of the city that don't have power, and we're going to be proactive in our enforcement efforts. That's what led to this ATM burglar that was caught. His accomplice may have escaped our grasp last night, but we're coming for him. We know who he is, and he'll be joining his partner very soon. We also had an individual that decided to take advantage of a business and try and steal a generator. And again, I say he tried because he now is also in a pod at David L. Moss after attempting to steal that generator. So I think this is a lesson to be learned, that poor decisions lead to bad outcomes, and we want everyone to make good decisions. We want to give the line crews that are in town trying to get power restored, we want to give them the roadways and give them the space that they need to operate. So let's be mindful of them. Let's not create any undue unsafe situation for them. Also, as I told you about navigating the city and how much more difficult it is, particularly at intersections, pay attention. We have officers and first responders out there that need to operate in emergency mode, red lights and siren. Give them the roadway, give them the intersection as they are trying to clear through the intersection because they are headed to emergency calls. We're good. We are making progress. We are showing that we're a resilient city, and we're working together. So hopefully, any criminal that might have thought that they were going to go out tonight and with criminal intents, let's turn that. Let's rethink that. Let's make a good decision and maybe put your effort into something positive that you can do for our city. I'm going to now turn this over to Undersheriff of Tulsa County, George Brown.
Thank you, Chief Franklin. Mayor, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. My name is George Brown. I'm here to give you an update on operations with the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office. Many areas of the county remain without power. Debris and down power lines are still obstructing some county roads. Drivers need to proceed with caution, obey the four-way stops and other stops, and utilize patience while traffic and especially while waiting in line for fuel stations. Deputies are working to help power crews get in the areas of the county where repairs to power poles and lines are much needed. Many of our employees themselves are without power. Despite this, our team is coming to work ready to help the citizens of Tulsa County as they recover from this massive storm. Our response. Deputies are working overtime in response to the storm. Our patrol division is focusing on areas of the county where residents are without power in an effort to reduce potential for looting and other criminal activities. Thus far, TCSO has received no report of looting in areas of the county that are without power. Let me reiterate that point just for a minute. Anyone intent on exploiting the situation and committing a crime against those citizens who are without power can expect to be arrested and given into the custody of the Tulsa County Sheriff and placed in the David L. Moss Criminal Justice Center, which, by the way, does have power and all the amenities and comforts to hold anyone waiting while they answer for their charges. If residents of the county witness looting or potential criminal activity, they may call 911 and we will respond immediately. We have deputies working extra patrols and extra shifts and extra manpower. Our facilities, no major damage reported to TCSO buildings. Our headquarters building, which is in the Faulkner building located downtown, did have a large AC unit on its roof topple over. We're working right now to try to upright that. DLM, David L. Moss, continues to house inmates from the jail that effectively ended today when the city jail was restored with their power. At the height of the response, we had 8 city inmates. While the office phones at the jail are working, the inmate phones and video visitation are currently down. No ETA on repairs. We're awaiting update from Cox on resolving the outage. In-person visitation is still available for those wanting to visit someone at the jail. Our resources: to report down power lines and debris blocking the roadway, call TCSO's dispatch at 918-596-5600. I'd like to turn it over to my friend and colleague, Tulsa Fire Chief Michael Baker.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Tulsa Fire Department continues to be busy today. Just in comparison, though, our run responses are decreasing. We made over 1,000 responses the 24-hour period of the 18th. We dropped to about 400 the next day on the 19th, and then today we're already at 220 by the press conference time today. I'm going to give you 3 items that we're currently focusing on within the department. The first one is carbon monoxide responses and carbon monoxide issues. We have seen 20 calls for carbon monoxide related issues or the need to monitor carbon monoxide in a residence in the last 36 hours. What's important about that is the peak time that we're seeing that is the 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. time block, basically the overnight hours. So remember that if you're using a generator, those need to be well outside and well away from your property so that you're not getting any exhaust into the structure. What's interesting is that across the days, those have been constant in the 17 to 15 range per day. So where I'm going with that is it seems to be a little higher today. The second item is lines down and transformer. We're still responding to those type of incidents across the city. We had an energized fence that kept us busy most of the overnight hours last night. So remember, as the power grid comes back online, if you have damaged weatherheads, as the mayor mentioned, there is a risk for fire. So please, if you're safe to do so, please take an eyeball look at your weatherhead and your connection of your power to your house, and be prepared to make sure you consult an electrician to restore that. Last but not least, the big punch of the day is open burning. So we have had significant number of residents within the Tulsa area decide to burn their storm debris in their yard. Open burning is prohibited within the city of Tulsa. You must use something like a enclosed fireplace or something like that to be legally burned, but you cannot burn debris in the city no matter what the situation is, and that includes construction debris if your house was damaged. Recreational fireplaces, fire pits are allowed for recreational fires. However, you cannot take a recreational fire pit and use it to burn your storm debris. TFD code enforcement officers will be out responding behind fire companies to do resident education on incidents that we have responded to, that we have an open burning situation. If we have a failure to comply, just be advised that you can be issued a citation that is a misdemeanor with a fine of up to $220. So we currently have too much fine fuel that's available to burn within the city. Even though it looks green out there, the leaves and branches are already beginning to dry. I was just on a fire in the northwest section of the city where what looked like nice green grass was burning just as easily as anything else is. So this is not a time to take that action. Follow the recommendations about removing your debris to the curb and allow yourself to go to the mulch site or a dump site, or have the city pick it up at a later date. So that's what we have for today. I'll turn it over to Adam Paluca with IMSA.
Thank you, Chief Baker. Yesterday, I predicted that I would be issuing a heat alert within hours of yesterday's media conference ending. At 5:30 yesterday, I did issue the first medical heat alert of 2023 for the Tulsa area. Yesterday, we responded to 11 suspected heat-related illness calls and transported 5 patients to the hospital. So far today, as of 3:30, we responded to 6 heat-related calls and transported 5 patients to the hospital. What's different about this event is the fact that so many people are without power. My number one heat safety tip is usually take a break inside in the air conditioning. There are so many of our Tulsans and those in surrounding areas who simply can't do that. That is why it's vitally important for people to take advantage of the cooling stations that have been set up throughout the metro area. I know that sometimes it seems like it's a heavy lift or that it might not be the exact perfect place you want to be. But as I said yesterday, spending some time in a cooling station is much better than spending some time in a hospital. We've had calls at all hours of the day. We were responding to heat calls at 11 p.m. last night, and we had responded to heat calls before 7 a.m. this morning. So that just goes to show that no matter what the time of day is, patients ranging from their teens and 20s all the way up to 90 years old. I am concerned about what's going to happen if people don't take this seriously. I don't want to be overly dramatic, but 16 in 36 hours, that's very concerning. So let's all stick together. Again, I want to implore people who do have access to a vehicle, who have air conditioning in their home. If you have family and friends who are without power, please invite those folks to spend the next few days with you. That is the best way to ensure that they will not succumb to heat-related illness in their homes. I want to thank all of our first response partners. We continue to see elevated response numbers, and we're predicting that that's going to probably continue until power is restored to the majority of the citizens. But we're all in this together. It's a perfect time to be the best neighbor you've ever been. I'm going to introduce Dr. Bruce Stark from the Tulsa Health Department.
Thank you, Adam. Our hearts are with everyone who has been impacted by this storm, and we're making sure that we're doing everything we can at Tulsa Health Department to ensure that services are available to everyone who needs them. Saying that, 5 of our facilities are currently without power, and those locations include Central Regional Health Center, Sand Springs Health Center, South Peoria WIC Clinic, Mingo WIC Clinic, and Legacy Plaza. We're redeploying staff at other facilities to ensure that services are available. We do recommend that you call before coming to one of our facilities to ensure that it's still open. We have our Tulsa Health Department food inspection teams very busy in the field this week, out working with operators trying to get their facilities open once power is restored. If you need to have an inspector or need a consultation, you can call 918-595-4300. We want to make sure that everyone has the information, and we will be available to anyone who needs help to get their operation up and running. We want to make sure everyone does this safely and appropriately. The public has been calling with lots of questions about their own home and their foods within their houses. So foods kept above 41 degrees Fahrenheit for more than 4 hours should be considered unsafe. That means most residents, you've been operating your refrigerator, freezer, and generator, your food is likely unsafe to eat unless you've been on the generator. Foods of greatest concern, of course, are those protein products, meats, lunch meats, fish and shellfish, poultry, soft cheese, dairy eggs, and cut fruits and melons. Throw out all perishable foods in your refrigerator when the power has been off for 4 hours or more. Read the label on packaged foods and follow instructions. If the label says refrigerate after opening and you haven't had power, you more than likely should toss it. When the freezer's closed, foods usually can stay cold for up to 48 hours or 2 days, depending on the quality of insulation of your freezer. Some foods may be safely refrozen. Quality will probably be affected because it'll contain ice crystals. But as long as it's below 40 degrees or more, you're still safe. At this point, bottom line, though, is that if your power's been out since the storm, it's highly unlikely that any food in your refrigerator or freezer is safe to eat. I want to really caution, make sure that you don't taste food to determine its safety. You can visit foodsafety.gov or follow Tulsa Health Department to get specific tips on your food. But the bottom line, the safest advice is when in doubt, throw it out. Tulsa Health Department is currently triaging complaints to make sure we're addressing everyone's concern, hopefully in a prioritized manner. Please make sure to follow your municipal guidelines for green waste so it does not become a public health hazard or a nuisance to your neighbors. And we encourage landlords and tenants to maintain communication to address any property concerns, of which we know there are many out in our community now. If you have a complaint or question or concern about a structure's safety or compliance, or about your rights as a landlord or a tenant, you can give us a call or file a complaint on our website, The phone number for housing complaints is 918-595-4200. Also this time of year, we know it's getting very, very hot. We've had lots of moisture. I want to remind everyone to dump any standing water they might have on their property. This will help prevent mosquitoes from finding a place to breed. Please wear insect repellent outdoors and check yourself for ticks, especially in wooded areas or when you're dealing with fallen trees or debris. And lastly, what Councilman, what Adam was saying, please make sure you and your neighbors are staying hydrated, and check on your neighbors and check on each other, especially elderly and those with younger children. Take advantage of all the cooling and power stations that are out in our community. Follow local agencies on social media for updates, and share this information with friends and neighbors who may not have access to the technology. I've been amazed at the response from the county and all the communities within Tulsa County. As Adam said, we will get through this together, and we'll be here for you as long as you need us. Thank you, and turn this over to Michelle.
Hi. First of all, have you seen any additional deaths, accidents, or injuries in the past 24 hours?
So related to the question about deaths, we don't have anything that is specifically tied or that we can say is related to the incident. So as Adam and I both have alluded to, we're very busy with medical emergencies throughout the city. So it's unfortunately, we don't know specifics related to those events. I think your other question was accidents. I do know that one of our district chief's vehicles was struck today with injuries involved, not to our personnel, but it was traveling on 71st Street and was hit by a car coming out of a side street. So that is an accident, if that's one thing you're referring to specifically. And I'm not sure if any other responders have had accidents or anything like that. So,
I mean, in terms of you talking about people, plowing through the intersections, not taking care, that sort of thing. Are you seeing a lot of accidents with that sort of thing?
I'll take that one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there are collisions occurring. There are collisions occurring because people are making bad decisions. We did have one vehicle, one of our Tulsa police cars that was rear-ended, had its emergency lights on the highway. That was the first night of this storm. Does that answer it? Okay.
Does the policy of ticketing for open burning, does that also include extended to anyone doing fireworks prematurely? The current situation, especially with power lines that may still be down, PSO being at work, all that?
Yes, fireworks are illegal within the city of Tulsa as well. So do not discharge fireworks. We will come see you. Or TPD will come see you.
Another question for PSO. Is PSO currently satisfied with all of the staffing currently on hand, and are there even more coming throughout the week, or have they finished bringing people in?
Eventually, we think we'll have about 2,700 people in here, in addition to the 700 PSO personnel and local business partners. So that's 3,400 people. That's a small army of line workers, foresters, and other support personnel. I heard one of our transmission people describe one of the projects that they were trying to restore as looking like ants on a cracker. There were so many people working on it. So yeah, we've got a lot of people out there, and we're dedicated to staying with it until every Tulsan has their power back.
A question for Mayor Bynum and Chair Dunkerley. Can you give some specific examples of what the emergency declaration does for the city and for the county?
So I think the most important thing that the emergency declaration does for us is that it allows our multi-jurisdictional coordinated emergency management team to be able to move more aggressively and quickly on the cleanup. And the reason for that is because there is a higher degree of confidence. We cannot get federal reimbursement without that state declaration. And so having that in place gives our team a greater degree of confidence in pursuing FEMA reimbursement for stuff that they need to do the work more quickly. As you can imagine, on an event of this scale, there's a tremendous amount of staffing levels that need to be paid for. You know, all the work that we're talking about right now, the runs that are being made by the fire department, the staffing levels in Tulsa Police Department, that is all overtime that is accumulating in response to this. We have teams out from our streets and stormwater and public works teams that are also being funded through overtime. So all of that, you're able to staff at a level of confidence and move more quickly and get more done more quickly if we know that we're not in this alone as a city, and we're not going to have to cover the costs all by ourselves. Being able to have a greater degree of confidence that FEMA funding is coming, as I have been told by our emergency management team, allows them to move a lot more quickly. And so Senator Treat signing that today, it's going to allow our emergency management team to move a whole lot more quickly moving forward. There are a number of other logistical items, regulatory issues that it lifts because the state of emergency has been declared, and allows us to move forward without having to worry so much about some of those regulatory requirements. I know the team at Tulsa Area Emergency Management Agency could give you more specifics on those, but the big one for us is confidence that we're going to get reimbursed by FEMA as we move ahead on this. And by the way, there was never any doubt, I think, in our local team that we would qualify for federal reimbursement on this. I think the threshold that I've heard as far as what we would need locally to meet that is around $7 or $8 million. Well, we met that with one building at the convention center, not counting everything else that we're doing across the city. So we have a high degree of confidence in getting that federal reimbursement. We just needed the state to sign this, and that's why Senator Treat's action is so important. You want to add anything, Commissioner?
I'll try to add a few items. The mayor said it very well. It increases our confidence, gives us the assurance that we know that we're not in this alone, just our region. The state is paying attention to us. All the municipalities in this county are united, and it's 7 or 8 counties around us. We've all been affected, and that's what that legislation was intended for. That's what that federal aid is for, is to help with these types of incidences with widespread damage that's significant. We need help, and so we're going to have a lot of excess costs, and some of those costs are going to qualify for reimbursement. So this allows us to plan better, to be more strategic, and to know that our local dollars and our local budgets will not be as impacted as we knew they would be.
My question is for the mayor. Hi. Have you actually spoken to Governor Stitt yet? Have you spoken to him? Do you feel a bit abandoned by him at this stage? Should he be back here from Paris?
I've not spoken with Governor Stitt. I've reached out, but I haven't heard back from him. I've visited with Lieutenant Governor Pinnell extensively, and I've also visited with Senator Treat extensively. But no, I've not heard back from the governor.
Would you like him to reach out to you, to be here, to see this?
Well, I want to give him, to be fair to him, he's out of the state trying to grow our economy. And I will also say, in previous natural disasters, Governor Stitt's been really good for Tulsa. I think back to when he was first in office and we were dealing with the response to the flood. He was here with us pretty much every single day. And so I'm confident when he gets back to Oklahoma, we're going to be seeing him around Tulsa. He's always been really good on that front, but he's not here. Couldn't take action. I don't know why he hasn't responded to me, but I'm glad that the guy who could take action, Senator Treat, didn't hesitate to do so.
And I just wanted to ask, you mentioned about the scammers there. Have there been any reports of anyone being scammed yet?
Well, we only know about the ones that reach out to us. And in particular, the one that I've heard about is people telling our citizens that, well, to fix your weatherhead, we're going to have to get a city permit, and that's an extra $1,000 on top of that, which is just a complete fabrication. Again, it's $93.11. And I hope Tulsans will remember that. If anybody tells you otherwise, they're trying to rip you off.
Any other questions?
Yes, for the mayor. Mayor, just about a little over an hour ago, State Attorney General Ginter Drummond issued a statement commenting on the declaration, also adding that the delay, he calls it a delay, calling it unnecessary for the declaration to wait until this afternoon, and noting that there is not a requirement for Lieutenant Governor to notify the President pro tempore of the Senate or down the line of succession. Do you share any concerns of the fact this declaration did not come until Tuesday afternoon?
Well, I've asked our team, what's the typical turnaround time for us to get a declaration like this? And they say it's in the first 48 to 72 hours. So this is not unusual in the amount of time that it took. I think that would be number one. Number two, I appreciate Attorney General Drummond. I don't know many people who love Tulsa more than he does, and I'm confident that he's speaking from a position of being passionate about our community and wanting to see it treated right. And so I appreciate his comments as well. I would also say that our emergency management team has been working rigorously to make sure that the state had all of the data and financial information they needed to issue this declaration. This is not the first time that we've been through a natural disaster. Our team is very well versed in how to handle these responses and the type of information that needs to be recorded and provided for this type of declaration to be issued, and has provided that to the state so that they would have the justification that was needed for the governor or whoever happened to be the acting governor at the time to make that declaration. I think that is one of the reasons that Senator Treat had no hesitation in going and in signing that declaration, because he knew, he'd been here himself, he'd seen it firsthand, he knew the need for this to be put in place. So I think the last thing that I have heard from my discussions, I have visited with the governor's chief of staff, and with the lieutenant governor and with the director of Oklahoma Emergency Management. The other thing that I've heard from each of them is that this didn't just hit Tulsa. And it hit a 11-county area in the state of Oklahoma, and so they were trying to collect all of that information to put together one declaration that could be issued, and that takes more time than it might otherwise if it had just been localized here. For us as Tulsans, that isn't necessarily a comfort while we're trying to plan, but it is, I think, their reason for why the time took what it did.
We have time for one more question. We have to get back to the OC.
Questions for Mayor Bynum?
Yep.
With the added addendum to the city council meeting tomorrow, what would you like to see done or discussed during that meeting?
Which addendum is that?
The meeting that's an addendum that was added for discussing the storm damage.
Oh, sure. So I think Councilor Lakin put that on, and he was here yesterday for our briefing. I think there's any time that you have an event of this significance, the council just wants an opportunity. They're not allowed to meet more than 4 in a group without it being a posted meeting. And I think there's a desire from councilors to hear from the team that's doing this response collectively. So they're making the best use of the team's time, and that you don't have Chief Franklin or Chief Baker or Mr. Kralachek having to answer the same question 9 different times for 9 different counselors. So I appreciate Councilor Lakin putting it on the agenda. I'm incredibly proud of the response of this team and the challenges. I've heard from a number of our city councilors that they're proud of the response of this team and the challenges that have come with this response, as we discussed yesterday, in trying to do a response like this when cellular coverage is compromised, communication is not what it would normally be. A number of city facilities that are crucial for response have been without power, and then also, I mean, the city is as concerned, or was yesterday, as anybody about the potential fuel shortage when you consider how many city vehicles are needed out on the street to keep Tulsa safe and to manage this response. And yet, this collective team behind me and down the hall from all these different organizations they have not only taken each challenge that has come up and met it, but they have predicted things that would come up down the road and gone ahead and addressed them in advance so that they never become issues. So I appreciate my colleagues on the council putting it on the agenda. There's plenty to share, but I'll leave it to them on what questions they specifically have for members of our team.
Okay, that's all the time we have today. Thanks, everyone.
Great.
You have been listening to a city and county-wide response, an update on the storm response since those heavy winds of the derecho came through and basically hit 11 counties across Oklahoma. We're hearing that number for the first time tonight. The mayor's saying the fuel is there. The 3 area refineries are back online. Those fuels, they is being shipped out to area gas stations, so that supply is back online. Good news there. PSO also saying that there's small army of linemen and foresters. They have already restored power to over 77,000 people in the Tulsa metro. All right, our local newscast here at 5 o'clock is going to start in the next 6 minutes. Our team is working hard to bring you more information, so stay tuned for that. You can also, those of you just now joining us, if you didn't get a chance to see all 50 minutes of that storm response update, we have it for you on our Facebook page here on KJRH. Now, back to regular programming.